is Erin Bullman, and I chose the Eric Joseph Foote War Memorial Sanctuary as my place to audit and do a short vlog about. I first want to acknowledge that this land, the Budger Mountain that it falls upon, is part of the traditional land of the Gubbi Gubbi people, and they've inhabited this area for many thousands of years. They've gracefully decided to share this history that they have on the Budger Mountain with the people of Australia. A little bit of history on him. He went to war to provide medical treatment, to be front lineman, and one day when he went in the front, he actually had a wound on his hand, but instead of going back and tending to it, he decided to stay and help those on the ground, and he didn't make it throughout the day. He was given a war medal, and now he had set a diary, and this is why they picked this area. He used to write in his diary in the area in the Budger Hills. Reading about his history really connected me to the area that I'm living in. So it was really cool that I got to audit and see more of kind of the history of this man and of the indigenous people and the land that it sits on. The first thing I would like to talk about is the environmental part of my audit. With this place being a 24/7 park, there's a big lack of lighting in the area. I didn't see any light posts. I went here at night a couple days before this, and I thought that it was closed, but online it tells you it's open 24/7. But there is no lighting for the walkways, and I thought that was unsafe for the area if we are going to be open at such a late time. I didn't see any outlets for any plugins, i.e. for any scooters, or if you needed to plug in, if your phone's dead, no outlets available. Then we move on to the walkways. The pavement is very untended. It has holes in it. The rocks are breaking up. There's leaves all over the place. With that, the toilets were very new. They must have been built in the last 5 years. There's a big tank behind there, so I'm going to guess that's where the sewage goes. Rubbish, there was only the red bins available. And I could see that there was some trash in places, so not enough trash bins for them to be easily put trash into. There's no recycling available for any bottles. Again, that's probably not the best to stay eco-friendly and to reduce our plastic footprint. And there was only one water station. It was covered in spider webs. There was actual spiders right on it. It just was, I would not use it. I went with my partner, he would not use it. And then there was a dog bowl full of gunk. So it looked like one of the stations that have a little containing mechanism so that if dogs need a drink, they just walk over and get it. But it would be unsafe for a dog to drink out of that. So I could see them needing to clean that more often. The great thing about this place is how beautiful the nature around it is. Each walkway was covered with trees. It was covered in different types of foliage. So bushes, flowers. There was water running through it, rock beds. It would be a beautiful walk if you wanted to go on a cool stroll. I didn't see any community gardens. I didn't see anything that was more man-made, but they did keep the natural impact of the area when making this sanctuary. Now I'd like to move into the social aspect of it. There's picnic tables. There's places to sit down. There's benches along. There was a guitar player there. He was practicing his guitar, and it just seemed like a really cool place that wasn't too busy, that you can have some time on your own. There was open spots for activities. I loved that they had picnic tables out there for people to eat with their families. Now, this is where they had a big downfall. So the accessibility for all individuals was absolutely lackluster. They provided 3 parking spots for people with disabilities, but then they only had stairs all the way down to the picnic area. So there was no ramp, there was no elevator, there was nothing for anybody that was using a wheelchair or can't use the stairs for them to get down to the cool area I was just previously talking about. We did gander around and we found a pathway, but it looked blocked off. It looked like cars weren't supposed to go there, and there was a tiny area where you can kind of walk around it. And then I piggyback that off of safety, especially child safety. Once you walk down one of the walkways a fair bit, there was a bridge over a very small area of water. And the railing to keep you from going into the water was just a normal little railing that anybody could walk off and hurt themselves, including me. Behind the bathroom, there was an area and even a walkway pathway to lead to it for signs to tell you not to be there. But there was no fencing, there was no gate or anything to keep you from going back there. So if a kid can't read yet and don't understand signs, they're obviously not going to be able to understand how grave that area was. Now I'd like to go more into kind of the history and the culture and the future plans of the area. I ranked it really high in this spot because I really enjoyed reading the story about Eric. There was signs about as well the trees and what the indigenous people used to do with them. And I just really enjoyed that. I felt super connected to the history of the place as well as the history of what this place was named after. They also had a notation board that had a proposed environmental information center. And I read a little bit more about it online, but it looks like it's donation funded, it's government funded. There's ways you can donate online. And I really like that they're also trying to grow the area. They even mentioned on the website that they needed to do a better job of connecting to the indigenous culture and putting better signs to represent and to acknowledge the indigenous Gubbi Gubbi that were in the area previously and prior to us. I did not see any braille on any of the signage, which was kind of disappointing. So that could be an area where they can improve. And that takes me to the medical side. Like there's no button for police help in case of a phone being dead. There was no first aid kits anywhere to be found. And I would say to get to the Budrum Hills, I did a run late at night to see how hard it would be. And it was so difficult, even for someone who runs a lot, to get up and down those hills. So I could imagine anybody in a bike, anybody in an older car. I know my car struggles to get up and down the hills of Budrum. There are no signs on the main road that this sanctuary is back there. And then finally you see these tiny brown signs that you could barely read to see exactly where to go. And lastly, there was no non-smoking signs in the park when I first got there. And then I saw this little guy and he had his arms out, and it's where you put cigarette butts. And so I realized this place is a smoking area. And my last category would be the economical side of it. So after doing some research, I found out that it's council funded. They use a lot of volunteer help. They have asked, and there were signs there as well, every Thursday at 8 a.m. they do volunteering and cleaning up the park. I actually really love that. I love the community spirit there. Now, with the funding being by the council, that means that it probably has to get board approved before any big changes can be made here. So that may be why it's been in the works for a while, this environmental center that they're wanting to put in. So it's free to the public. It's open 24/7. I can see that being a positive for people who want to come at any time. Let's say you get off work late, it's still an open park that you can go and hang out at. Now, there's not a lot of walkways that you charge for, but then again, I don't see any revenue stream coming in. There's no cafes, there's no merchandise stores, there's nothing around to add money into the revenue stream to make these economical changes happen. So if I were them, I'd have a lot more benefits, I'd have some events, because if you check online, the last event that they posted about happened in 2023, and it was a concert. That's a great idea. I'd love to go. And I don't know if it's a lack of funding or a lack of someone within the council that cares about this area, but until they do, these changes aren't going to be made. And with the weatherproofing, I'm glad it came right after a storm, because you can tell that there is some cover in the picnic area, but there's not much coverage of the walkways. There were some weather strips on the stairs, which were dated, were not useful. We even tried them out with our foot, and they didn't work that well, so there has to be some updates made to weatherproof the area. I didn't really notice many cost-saving measures. I noticed a solar panel on top of the bathroom, but that was about it. So I would guess that it being free of charge, it being a volunteer cleaning service, but again, they would have to get someone out there to clean the landscape, to take out the trash. I didn't see many areas in which they could cost save, but I did see that they are trying. And that is my audit of the Eric Joseph Foote War Memorial Sanctuary. I hope you like this, and I hope you go and check it out, because it's a beautiful place, beautiful people, just like yourself. And yep, I hope you had a good day. Peace.